Hello, everyone, and welcome to the World News on VOP TV. I am Jude Ikami Jude. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un's sister has signaled the reclusive regime openness to talks with key U.S. ally, and that could be a real opportunity down north of high tension on Korean peninsula. Kim Jong-un, who is 36 years old, whom some observers have tipped one day to succeed her brother, who is 40, said recent overtures by Prime Minister Fumio Kishida of Japan were a positive sign. However, she cautioned against Tokyo's ulterior intention. Reports have it that Kishida had openly sided with Washington and Seoul against Pyongyang's proactive missiles test in recent months, but he is now betting with sidelines domestic approval ratings on a chance to secure information about Japanese citizens abducted by North Korea decades earlier. The UK Kishida's office did not respond to the request for comment. North Korea admitted in 2022 to kidnapping 13 Japanese nationals in the 1960s and 1970s. 5 people and their families were later returned to Japan, but Pyongyang said that others had died. Tokyo believes 17 of the 8 citizens were taken and has been working to secure their return, dead or alive. And still in Korea, Kim Jong-un, the powerful sister of leader Kim Jong-un, has disclosed that Pyongyang will be open to improving relations with Japan and potentially hosting a visit from Prime Minister Fumio Kishida, according to a state-run media. Now, Kim made the remarks late Thursday in response to recent calls by Kishida for a summit with Kim Jong-un to help raise Japan-North Korea relations to a new stage and, of course, resolve the long-standing issue of North's abduction of Japanese citizens. However, she cautioned that Tokyo would have a drop in its criticism of Pyongyang's illicit missile and nuclear programs, and of course set aside the already settled abduction issues before any steps could be taken. Kim also added that under such conditions, there would be no reason for the two countries not to become close, and that the day of the Prime Minister Pyongyang's visit might soon come. Slovak President Zuzana Kapuvota on Friday sought to block legislation scrapping special prosecution that breached dedication to high-level crime and lowering punishments for financial crimes by sending them to Constitutional Court for review. Slovakia's parliament approved the laws introducing the changes last week amid public protests as well as concerns including from the European Union's executive over the bills being pushed through a fast-track procedure. Kapuvota told a televised news conference that rather than veto the laws, she should sign them and send them to the court, where she was also seeking their suspension. This would give the court more time for review than order a veto, and she said that the court was the best place to decide on the plans amid a conflict between Prime Minister Roberto Fico's government and opponents of the overall likes and, of course, herself. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky had arrived in Berlin for only his 3rd visit to Germany since Russia's all-out invasion of his country nearly 2 years ago. Chancellor Olaf Scholz welcomed Zelensky in front of the Chancellery building, where the two leaders shook hands and briefly posed for photographs. Zelensky was expected to sign bilateral security agreements with Germany and France later today. Following his meeting in Berlin, Zelensky was due to travel to Paris. He would attend the Munich Security Conference on Saturday to rally Western bilateral and defense leaders for more military support. We'll go for a short break, and when we come back, more stories. Do stay with us. Welcome back. Ukraine's army says heavy battles are raging with pressing Russian forces in the frontline city of Advidak, as President Volodymyr Zelensky embarked on a mini European tour in a new attempt to secure much needed aid. The army said on Friday its forces were taking up new positions in the eastern city as the second anniversary of the war finds Ukraine faced with battlefield challenges and a shortage of ammunition stockpiles and amidst delays in Western military assistance. Russia has been trying to capture the city since October and has surrounded it on three sides, leaving limited resupply routes for Ukrainian forces. The fraught situation and questions on Ukraine's ability to hold Avdiivka have fueled speculations that Russia hopes to take control of it before the Russian presidential election next month, where Vladimir Putin is set to be re-elected. Captured Avdiivka is a crucial aim for the Russia, as it would allow it to complete control of the two eastern Donbas province of Donetsk and of course Luhansk. Pro-Palestinian activists have filed criminal charges against a German politician. The charges against Volker Beck, a former member of the parliament and head of the German-Israeli Society, were brought by Palestinian solidarity groups, Palestinian Speaks and Jewish Voice for Just Peace in the Middle East. This is the first step in holding public figures whom publicly make genocidal statements legally accountable, and of course a statement on their Instagram. Now, the group cited Beck's statement on social media in opinion pieces and media interviews in which he expects and expressed support for Israel's war in Gaza. Beck rejected the claims as nonsense. Alexei Navalny, the forecast foe of Russian President Vladimir Putin, who crusaded against official corruption and staged massive anti-Kremlin protests, has died in prison today. Today, according to Russia's prison agency, he was said to be 47. The Federal Penitentiary Service said in a statement that the Navalny felt unwell after a walk on Friday and lost consciousness. An ambulance arrived to try to rehabilitate him, but of course he died. Kremlin spokesperson Dmitry Peskov says Putin was informed of Navalny's death, and of course the prison service was looking into the death in line with standard procedures. Navalny's spokeswoman Kira Yamash said on Twitter that the politician's team had no confirmation of the death so far, and that his lawyer was traveling to the town where he was held. Navalny, who was serving a 19-year sentence on charges of extremism, was moved in December from his former prison in the Vladimir region of the central Russia to a special regime penal colony, the highest security level of prison in Russia above the Arctic Circle. Coming up is business and sports. Do stay with us. Now, welcome back. Let's talk business. Jeff Bezos, the founder of Amazon, has sold over $4 billion worth of shares in the company, making a significant divestment, according to Bezos. Bezos, who is the executive chair of Amazon, sold 24 million shares this month, following an earlier announcement of his intention to sell 50 million shares over the next year. Despite concerns about potential tax liabilities, Bezos' move aligns with his plans to relocate to Florida and focus on initiatives like his Blue Origin space project. While Bezos remains Amazon's largest shareholder and one of the world's wealthiest individuals, his recent sales reflect a strategic financial decision amid the company's soaring stock prices. And of course, despite geographical tensions in the Middle East and attacks on Red Sea shipping, oil prices have not surged as expected. Factors such as waning global demands and of course increased oil supply have contributed to keeping all oil prices relatively stable. The International Energy Agency forecasts a slowdown in global demand growth for oil, citing economic chances in key economies like China, Japan, and the United Kingdom, of course some others. Additionally, strong oil production from countries like the United States, Brazil, and Canada is expected to override any increase in demand, further championing upward pressure on prices. While the threat on conflicts in the Middle East historically led to spikes in oil prices, the current geographical climate has not seen a similar impact. Despite US-led strikes in response to Red Sea attacks, oil prices have remained below their 2022 highs. However, ongoing volatility in oil markets persists as investors monitor factors such as interest rates, the US dollar, and geographical tensions. The combination of these factors underscores the delicate balance in global oil markets and highlights the complex interplay between supply, demand, and geographical dynamics in determining oil prices. And let's talk sports now. France striker Kylian Mbappe has told Paris Saint-Germain he intends to leave the club at the end of the season with a 25-year-old deal scheduled to expire, as he has been heavily linked with a move to Real Madrid. Mbappe's future was the subject of a major standoff with PSG last summer, when at one point he was excited from the first-team squad and left out of the club's pre-season hour of Asia. However, an agreement was reached that he ensures PSG would not lose out when Mbappe eventually left, and the terms of his now seemingly inevitable exit are still to be confirmed. The forward has a one-year extension clause, so it is expected his departure will involve either a sale with a transfer fee or a financial sacrifice on the player's part. Whilst PSG would have wanted Mbappe to remain at the club, his exit looks set to come as they claim to build a younger squad and move away from the Galacticos plan that has also seen Argentina forward Lionel Messi and Brazilian international Neymar leave since the end of the last season. And that's a wrap on World News on VOP TV. Many thanks for watching. My name is Jude Ikambi Jude. Good evening.